cheer squad caring for kids, the Sydney Swans. They want to swat them. Big season since crossing from Arden Street. The thoughts of Wayne Carey as the opening bounce is about to take place at the MCG. It is the Sydney Swans going to the left of screen. McKernan wins it, can't take it out of the middle, however. Held up there with Robert Scott at the bottom of the pack.
It's interesting, Sandy. Paul Roos is lined up at centre half forward for the Sydney Swans, picked up by Jason McCartney.
There are the two we were just talking with and about. Messrs Dunkley and Carey. Stafford doing the ruck work, but it's Kelly who comes over the top, pushes down towards half forward. Abraham intercepts, gets the quick hand pass away. North clear through McCartney, wide to the outer wing. Creswell up high, handles it quickly over the line. Paul Roos and Anthony Stevens, a little bit of how do you do. Wayne Carey directing early traffic. North bench. You can see there those boys will get their chances as the afternoon unfolds. Wolf's hand pass. Stevens went through strongly, couldn't get it out effectively. Look at them pounce upon it. Shannon Grant bumped up against his old side. Another bounce.
So Plugger Lockett was picked up by Mighty Mick Martin, and also Glenn Archer picked up Michael O'Loughlin. So a very open forward line for the Sydney Swans. Mooney wins it, taken away that time by Stevens for North Melbourne, down towards the half forward line. Coming out is Ruck, outside of 50, kicks long. This could bounce through. Longmire in hot pursuit, wins the ball, looking for support. Too much carry that time for Scholl, kicked off the ground by Luff, back to King. King bangs it through. First blood to North Melbourne.
And that's terrific play by John Longmire. The ball looked like it was going to concede and go over the goal line to concede a point for North Melbourne. He kept the play in, ball in play. Troy Loft made a mistake. He didn't get it clear, as we see by the replay. Good play anticipation here by Longmire. Kept the ball alive. Troy Loft probably could have done a little bit better in that situation. David King drifting forward from the half-back line. Great conversion, regulation snap.
David King kicks just his second goal for the season. A handy start though for the Roos. Schwass through strongly, couldn't take it. Robert Scott kicks down towards the half forward line. Allison dashes inside 50, gives it back again, charging through his Pike, who will come back as he shoots for goal, but he's away to the left and one behind. An ominous start though by Martin Pike and North Melbourne. Got the call out the back. That was Allison from Pike. He's a little frustrated at missing that one. An excellent chance for number 2, but it's not to be. Stafford, a good mark. His aerial work has been excellent. Lightning hand pass across towards McPherson, goes up towards Maxfield, tries to create a path for Mooney.
Free kick against Maxfield for shepherding, and I think it was the right call too. Maxfield had no intention other than to keep Abrahams away from the footy. Pickett.
And it will be Byron Pickett. North by 7 points in these opening minutes. Back towards centre wing. Well, Wayne Carey said to us just before going to air that he was now taking these big marks in a contest. That's no exception. Longmire is in the pack. They've come a long way out. No one down in the square. Comes out the back door. North could be in with a chance. Stevens. Kick is smothered by John Stevens. Socket out of the air. Back towards centre wing. Chance now for Armat. He's been in pretty good form. Well done to Stafford. Oh, and he bounces off Mickey Martin. Gets it down towards the half-forward line. Out comes a Lockett. Archer's right there with him. Saddington gets a hurry kicking towards the left forward pocket. Sydney go deep into attack. Pushed towards the line by McCartney. Defensively, and a throw-in to take place.
And we can see Wayne Carey here really attacking the ball. Dunkley coming over the top. Very strong Wayne Carey mark. McKernan pushing and shoving along with Mooney. Slaps the ball to the front of the pack. Here's Swass. He'll get the boos from the crowd. That's from the North Melbourne supporters. He's had a fantastic season. We see Green there on the interchange bench. Mercuria there as well. Over the top, Creswell had it lost at McKernan. Trying to get back to his best form. Patting the ball along in front. Going to ground was Swass. Scott takes the ball away. Caught. Handball's back out wide. Stevens can't trap it. So a good start by North Melbourne. They lead by 7 points. Great opening goal by King. and a bad miss by Martin Pike. Still on the half-forward line for the Swans. A push out. And they'll go to Mooney. Good kick and a half out from goals. Plugger still in the square. Gives it to Swash. An early touch. Good teamwork here. Here's Plugger out in front. Goes to ground. Mayer thought he was pushed. They're going to toss it back in.
Going to be a great contest. That was the two number 4s, Lockett and Martin. McKernan jostling with Mooney. O'Loughlin taken out by Scott. Maxfield intercepts and chops them off. Centering kick, keeps it in play nicely, in towards half-forward. Strong mark taken by the goal kicker, David King. Sets them away to Allison on the outer side. Perfect kick. Allison sends North Melbourne up towards Carey at left half-forward. Dunkley right there with him. Carey does well to try and tap it back in. Going to get a free kick. Got a shove from Dunkley. So the early honours with Carey. With ease, he gets around Andrew Dunkley, and he sets sail for home with a long bomb. Winston's the flyer. They're a couple. It's sucking off the ground. They've got through behind. No, it eventually wobbles over. Frantic defence there. Peter Bell trying desperately to soccer it through. Not successful. Bayes, a short kick. Not short enough, out of bounds on the full. So North to get another opportunity. Shannon Grant tucked in the right forward pocket. Very, very difficult angle. He's looking for options. Not a lot forthcoming. In fact, none. Well, that's interesting. He finds Wayne Schwass.
Grant to Schwass. And we see how O'Loughlin goes the ground. There's going to be a lot of interest in the performance of Shannon Grant today and Wayne Swash after swapping clubs. Both have been in fantastic form for their respective clubs. Michael O'Loughlin on screen, All-Australian last year, was picked up by Archer at the start of the game. Longmire back in the side after spending some time in the reserves. O'Loughlin pumps the ball back towards the half-forward line. Saddington, the youngster's a high flyer. McKernan, well done by Saddington. Maxfield is quick. Caught that time. Maxfield recovers well. Gets the ball out where King, pushing the ball along in front. The pride of Port Melbourne wobbles the ball up towards the edge of the centre square. The veteran, Blakey, is caught. Kick smothered. Creswell back to Swash, picking up early possessions. Kicks the ball deep inside 50. Pickett goes back. Crashing his way through also was McCartney, pushed over by Ahmad. Ruse, quick hands. Kelly, 35 metres out. Kicks a goal.
You certainly see the intensity of both sides. The work rate off the ball is extreme. They know they have to do that to keep in control of the situation, but we see the matchups that are going to be so critical. Blakey's got the run with job on Wayne Swash. Also, John Stevens got the job on Shannon Grant. Paul Kelly and Anthony Stevens are matched up in the midfield, and that just goes to show great balance, great poise in a tight situation. Paul Kelly assessed his options, knew that he was in goal-scoring range, went back and put it through in the appropriate manner.
So the Sydney skipper gets his sides first and his 13th for the season. An infringement. And it's going to go the way of North Melbourne in the square. Corey McKernan. He can pump it long if he wants to. Penetrating drop punt. This time it is Dunkley in front. This is going to be another major battle. It's so well worth watching. Luff to the outer side towards the centre wing. Abraham may be first to recover, but no. Jason Mooney chips in nicely for Sydney. Swings round onto the left foot. The centering kick dropped short, taken by the crew-cutted Robert Scott. Scott's away. He's had a good start, picking up early touches up towards right half forward. Longmire was shoved, and he's going to get the free kick.
Over the shoulder paid, Sandy. In the marking contest, you see the arm over the shoulder from Bayes there, so paid for that infringement.
He would dearly love to find his best form, Johnny Longmire, 55 metres out. Not going for goal. Centering into half forward, giving his teammates a chance to run and jump at it. Next gets the hand pass out to Dunkley. Andrew Dunkley steadies, finds his target in Johnny Stevens. Stevens nips through half back. Sydney dropping it back towards Saddington on centre wing. He was
Free against
shoved.
King.
So he's an exciting young player, this one, KB.
Yes, and tall and athletic to 50, looking for Mooney. Ahmad had it, lost it, taken away by McCartney. He's had a very good season. Comes back, Stafford gets the ball out to Wharf on the edge of the centre square. They kick long, the Sydney Swans. Here's Mighty Mick coming out in front of Lockett. It's a loose ball. Danger for North Melbourne. Kicked off the ground by Pickett. Chance for King.
Oh,
Ran into his teammate and Grant. Great tackling on O'Loughlin. They tie it up. King comes out. Brute strength. Kick half smothered. Inside the centre square. Bell under pressure. Stafford pulled off the ball. Bell quick hands. Back to Pickett. North Melbourne forced the ball forward. As Swass has claimed the mark not paid. Goes to ground. Winston Abraham. Clever. Great tackle by Bays. Drives him into the ground. North Melbourne just continue to force it forward. And through for a minor score.
gee, if that's a sign of things to come, Mick, we're going to be in for a big afternoon.
Oh, sensational start to this. This is what footy's all about, cutthroat situation. But what we'll see, Corey McKernan's obviously playing the conventional ruckman's role. He's pushing back to block the hole for Lockett and Martin to lead into, and we'll see that happen all day.
That a mark, Johnny Russo?
Well, we didn't see the first grab, Sandy. We only saw the second and the third, but so it's difficult to say whether he had the first one, but I'd suggest that you probably shouldn't stop until you hear a whistle.
Troy Luff then to bring it back into play. Ignores Rowan Wharf short on this side of the ground and heads to the outer side, and that's okay. Finds Matthew Nix. In excellent form this season. Nix, McPherson, Dunkley. The back line has been excellent. McCartney. In towards the middle of the ground. Sydney had the numbers there. They may lose it now. Rock gets the hand pass away. Abraham a chance to go down towards half forward. The mark is going to be okay to the veteran John Blakey. Care to dance, says Wayne Schwass. Blakey's a long way from home. "256 games. He's a long way from home, but that's a long, long kick by Blakey. Johnny Blakey gets his first and his fourth goal for the season, and North again go 8 points clear.
And this is a terrific kick here by John Blakey. We know he's a prodigious kick. He gave himself that little bit of room to get back off the mark and follow through accordingly, and that's probably travelled 55 to 60 odd metres. But it's interesting that his matchup is with Wayne Schwass. Schwass is trying to float across the half back line. He was then the forward player, come and met the ball and kicked a good goal.
North Melbourne by 8 points. John Blakey, veteran now of 257 games. Swass again out of the centre square to the half forward line. Playing in front of Mooney. McCartney, the tackler, the chaser. Couldn't handle the ball, kicked off the ground, taken by Rock. It's been handy in these opening moments. Stevens just pumps the ball back towards the centre wing position, and there's Creswell. All-Australian last year as well. Gets it across to Stafford. Some rebound football. Johnny Stevens through the centre square. Here's Plugger. Caught behind, 3 against 1. Mighty Mick gets back. Heads for the line. So pretty tough that time for Plugger Lockett with 3 North Melbourne defenders to beat. Very conscious of Plugger. Kicked 10 goals against North Melbourne a couple of years ago out at Optus Oval. Rodney Eade on screen. They trail by 8 points. McKernan pushing and shoving. Looked like he got a hand around Mooney's neck. Loose ball, Rock. From half back to centre wing. Standing his ground in front. Here's, we see Nix trying to claim it. Off hands, back towards the centre of the ground. Ahmad had it, lost it. He's been paid it. So Robbie Ahmad. Short. Allison read it well, couldn't take it, and Stafford still inside the centre square.
Did give some thought to going on with it. Now goes back. Lockett still in the square. McKernan a mighty belt, but Stevens is waiting down. Well, they were so hungry for it, the Sydney boys. Pushed out the back door. Stafford may get another chance. Off to Creswell. Tumbles a punt blindly down towards the forward line. McKernan again intercepts. Well, North fans would love to see Corey too hit top form. He's due. Martin Pike goes from the back pocket, heads towards centre wing. They've got some space, they've got some time. Anthony rocks away up towards Blakey. Marks on right half forward.
This is a terrific matchup, Sandy, because Blakey knows the percentage time when to push forward and run off his direct opponent. Even though he's got the negating role trying to stop Schwass's influence, he can become a very good offensive player for North.
Goes for distance and tumbles it in the forward line. Peter Bell marks on the chest in front of the pack.
He just read it better. His judgment was far superior. Eyes only for the ball. Back into the contest. Great courage. Should kick a goal.
Hasn't missed a game this year. There's a few moans in that little lot from North Melbourne fans. They'll be disappointed with that shot from there.
KB, I think it'll be interesting to see what Rodney Eade does with the use of Stafford now, knowing that McKernan's pushing back directly into that hole, stopping Lockett to lead at the angles. Interesting to see whether he wants to make a 7-man forward line and push Stafford to make that one-on-one responsibility.
Well, Plugger hasn't had the room that he had last week against Collingwood because McKernan has really pushed back. That's going to be an interesting tactic. Luff in the defensive 50. He's got a loose player wide in Dunkley. Strong overhead. Struggled for form last year, Dunkley, but in his very best form this year. Picking up Wayne Carey today to the half-forward line. Kicks to space. McCartney. Lost it. Here's a chance. Green just onto the ground, 35 metres out. Kicks a goal.
That was a terrific build-up there by Sydney. They got it out of the zone area, but it was great play by young Jason Saddington. He's a young athlete. He can jump tall. He kept the ball alive. He tapped the ball into the path of Stafford, who handballed inside to Green. As we see here, the good execution of the handball. Nearly missed its target. Good balance, good poise by young Green. He got back, balanced up, got onto his dominant side and kicked truly for goal. It's a great confidence booster for a young man who just come off onto the ground.
Former Brisbane player Brent Green kicks his first goal today for Sydney, and they again close the gap. Allison out of the middle, almost the perfect hand pass. Robert Scott takes it from Pike. Scott wants the quick answer. It's long, it's straight, and it is the answer North wants.
And there's all example of the centre bounce clearances, how important they are in the game of footy. It was North Melbourne then who crashed their bodies through the contest, kept the ball alive, gave it into the path of Scott, who incidentally has got the job on Maxfield today. He just pushed forward, as we see here. The loose ball, McKernan just tried to kick it forward. Allison got it forward. Then Park gets it forward into the path of Robert Scott, who straightened up and kicked the goal in the appropriate manner. Good start for North Melbourne.
McKernan and Stafford too. Lockhorns, 21 plays, 12. Stafford got his hands on the ball first, just pushes it forward, overrunning the ball with Stevens. Nix, plenty of support from Creswell. Back to Swash. Been very good in the first quarter. Maxfield kicks to space. So Nix once more. He's got to get past Pickett. He's bowled a few over this year.
Probably Basie should have found the target, but great play by Byron Pickett. He left his direct opponent 15 metres away from where the ball landed, took it upon himself to go and meet the contest, and that's the reason why it went out of bounds.
Green has been infringed against and takes the free kick. Again to Swash. They're pretty keen to bring Swash into the game. Inside 50, here's O'Loughlin, the high flyer. Standing his ground is Glenn Archer. Kicks wide, he's looking for Mighty Mick. Some run out of defence. Shannon Grant to space, carries the target. Dunkley did well, got in front. Punch forward by Rock, needing a kind bounce. The skipper, King Carey's got it. Gets around, tripped. So he's got the free kick. You can see his feet there taken from underneath him. Carey kicks into the pocket. He's looking for Winston Abraham. Couldn't take it on the second grab. He's got Wharf the beat, goes to ground. They pile on top. Chandler, and they ball it up.
Yes, Kevin, both sides are very eager to keep the ball moving today. Obviously, it's a game of matchups, and both sides are carrying the ball if they can, and then getting that long kick into their forward line.
Thank you, Dipper, on the boundary line. Wonderful game unfolding. Scott running the boundary. And also joined us today one of the greatest full forwards of all time, and he'll be in his element today with Tony Lockett at one end of the ground, Wayne Carey there also up in a forward line. Peter McKenna, welcome, Pete.
Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, tremendous to watch two of the great forwards of all time, Lockett and Carey. Interesting to see North, Sandy, as we see it bounce 30 metres out here from goal. But North Melbourne doing it terrifically well on Lockett. They're getting numbers back and trying to crowd Lockett's lead. Lockett loves to lead up the middle. He comes, and he's such an accurate kick. He's very, very dangerous. Good also to see Johnny Longmire down on the forward line. I think that's where he's most dangerous, down at full forward.
There he is with Mark Bayes, contesting on this occasion. It's won by Bayes. Dunkley's hand pass is swept wide towards the line. And seeing it over is Daniel McPherson. There's Paul Roos, veteran of some 288 games. Longmire this time had front spot. The hurried kick was by McPherson. He goes again. Second attempt, Luff gives it away to Rowan Wharf. Sydney now out of the immediate danger zone. Up towards right half forward. McCartney comes over the top. And a throw in once more.
Mustn't have liked what he was saying.
Silence is golden. Green wins it down to Kelly. Kelly blasts forward. Lockett and Martin out from the back. But Stafford is in front. The big man takes a fine mark. He plays on. He's got Saddington in front. And the youngster doesn't let him down.
And that's exactly what we spoke about, Sandy. The big fella in Stafford had to push forward in the one-on-one situation with McKernan because he was plugging the hole for Lockett to lead into. If you get extra one-on-one against contests, it's amazing how often it does come to ground and keep your forwards an option to kick a goal.
I like that. Mick plugging the hole that Lockett was going to run into.
There's a young man from the Eastern Rangers. He has kicked it behind. Great opportunity there going begging. 2 goals to him for the season. 2-1 plays 3-3. North with their noses in front. Scott and Blakey in the early action. And so too David King. Getting the first goal of the match.
So King to bring the ball back into play for North Melbourne. Kicks long. In front is Green. He's looked pretty impressive since coming off the bench in this first quarter. He's kicked a goal outside of 50.
Oh.
Big bomb. A great kick by Green. He's hit the post.
Terrific
That
kick.
was a big kick, Mick.
Yeah, terrific kick by Green. He's been very promising since he's come on the ground replacing Mooney. But you have a look at the kick there, 60-odd metres, and hits the post about just on quarter way up.
Green again stands his ground. This time gets one hand on the ball. Stevens, as Roos takes the ball over the line.
It's interesting to see also, KB, that Sydney Swans are using the man-on-man approach on the North Melbourne's kick-ins.
Paul Roos on screen has announced that this will be his last season of AFL football. Green got his hands on the ball first. Blakey back to Archer, the Norm Smith medalist, from half back. Kicks down. It's a wobbly old kick. Dunkley playing in front. Winston Abraham was held. No free kick. Grant pushed off the ball. Abraham, the excitement machine, gets the ball back. Chandler just wobbles the ball inside 50, looking for Carey. He's got McPherson to beat. Takes it over the line. They'll toss it back.
A reminder for all those people who'd like to get on the official AFL website. Here's Bayes and Longmire, neither getting a decisive tap. Kelly says he'll take them on. Back to Bayes again. Up towards centre wing, flicked over the top to try and accommodate a Wharf. Abraham, a little toe poke, may give Stevens the chance. He's caught by Schwartz. Prior ball goes up. Stevens goes again. Schwartz goes again. Great stuff. Bell in late. And umpire John Harvey, the 34-year-old bank clerk, decides he'll come in and take charge, John Russo.
He's a bank manager, actually, Sandy. And
I think well.
There were two very difficult holding the ball decisions in that, because he was blocked from seeing how the ball was originally disposed of, so elected not to make a decision, and then a ball up ended up the result.
Rock goes to ground, Bell caught. McPherson, the tackling is absolutely ferocious. It's tough in the clinches. And again, they'll ball it up on centre wing. 3.5 minutes of action left. North Melbourne by 7 points. Green do the ruck work against McCartney. Green with strength. And again, they just tumble on top of the ball.
Pushing
this
it back,
time, free kick. So Wayne Swass appealed for a free kick before, didn't get it. Picks one up now, kicks the ball wide, looking for O'Loughlin. Chipping in front is Luff. Plays on quickly to Maxfield, who can kick the ball quickly through the air. Look at Mighty Mick out in front. He's doing it well on Plugger. Ricochets back into his hands. Mighty Mick comes away for North Melbourne. It's a great kick, looking for Johnny Longmire. Traps it on the half-forward line. Weighs up his options. Great kick. Bell made plenty of ground. He's on 50. He's going to have a ping at the goals. Runs to 40. He's off target. Again, a bad miss by Peter Bell. That's his second miss. Dennis Pagan goes for the phone.
8 points the margin. Nix brings it back into play and finds Wharf tucked in the back pocket. North getting the early break and holding it almost a quarter time. Stafford at the back, unable to mark. Martin Pike dashes clear. Here's the whistle. It's got to come back and it'll go the way of Sydney.
Dumped after disposal was the reason the free kick was paid late then, Sandy.
To Green, who's done well. Away goes the big man. Up towards left half forward. Roos and Sannington is two targets out there. Anthony Stevens was there with Glenn Archer for North Melbourne, along with Martin Pike. Low scoring affair, but I think we expected that with these two great sides. McCartney and Green. Scott gets it out towards Bell. Another one wider to Pike. If it sits, Martin's away. Got to get past Roos. Can't do so. Wharf comes charging at it. Abraham's an opportunity now to give it back to Pike. Martin Pike goes for goal. 1-9. But relishing his return is Pikey.
That's an interesting matchup there. Martin Pike versus Paul Roos, the experienced old cager. They're trying to use Roos in the floating role that we've been renowned to see over the last 3 or 4 years in Roos, but Pike's certainly on top in that one-on-one situation in the first 20 minutes of play.
8 effective scoring shots to 4 in favour of North. Longmire a flyer. Pickett at the back. Wobbles one only 5 or 6 metres straight to Dunkley. He gives it away to Robbie Armat. And Armat's flying across centre wing. Kick's got to be good. Oh, Kelly. Kelly goes again. Gives it away to Sannington. Pops it out in front of Luff. He can go over the top to Lockett. Instead, he'll try and kick the goal. And slams it into the woodwork.
Sandy, the crowd going berserk about Stevens then, but Stevens did everything right, running with the flight. We see him running with the flight of the footy and then turns around, very nearly takes the mark. So the Swans supporters unfairly suggesting that he should have been penalised then, because
that
was a mark, Johnny.
Oh, John Russo, can I get in?
Yeah, everybody can get in.
Peter McKenna here, that's a mark, mate.
They're coming from
Dead set
everywhere.
mark.
Did everything right then, went right back to the hardest thing to do in football and took a terrific
I
mark.
agree with you, Dipper, but the Swans crowd were the ones that were screaming.
Screaming for a mark, mate.
Stevens for North Melbourne. Abrahams thought he had it. Grant just tried a quick hand pass taken over by Stevens. It was terrific play by Stevens to spin himself in mid-air to get in front, which looked to be a certain mark to Paul Kelly. We see Scholl standing up. Looks like he's ready to come into the action. Blakey over the back. Plucks it out of the air. Kicks back towards centre half forward. Dunkley versus Carey. Coming through hard was Bays. Lost it. Scott kicks to space. He wants to run onto the ball. Is Rock. He's got it. Should kick a goal. Good play, North Melbourne.
handy goal in the last minute of play for the North Melbourne team, but that was all brought about again once by the good vision. He could have been a free kick to Bays, maybe holding the man, but Scott just kicked it in the path of young Anthony Rock, who watched the ball bounce. He kept his eyes only for the ball, good balance, grabbed the ball in the appropriate manner and kicked a goal. A very neat, necessary goal just before the quarter-time break.
Anthony Rock has been quiet in the goal so far this season, just his second as Creswell whips it out in the middle. Kelly gets caught, tries to pop it over the top. Stevens soccers it clear again. Abraham takes the mark. Wild, Winston smack bang in the middle of the MCG. Time's ticking away. North are going to need a mark. Carey's in the area. Carey!
And Sandy had his eyes written all over that ball. It's just a typical Wayne Carey mark, floating across, jumps early, gets his opponent out of the contest. That's just a terrific mark.
30 metres out. The angle not a problem for this man. Going for his first for the day. 13 so far this season. On the siren. He doesn't let his team down. Carey gets his first. And that's one, Mick, that really could hurt after the siren, because Sydney had stuck with them for probably all but the last couple of minutes of that quarter. 2 quick goals, and it does look a different story, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, up to the 20-minute mark, they went goal for goal, but it's been North Melbourne who've kicked 3 consecutive goals and certainly taken control, and that's just what the leadership's all about. Just when you've got to take the marks in a tight situation, Carey does it more often than not than any player that I've seen, and Carey is just an absolute champion.
So a good first quarter by Wayne Carey and his men. Rock, Scott, Blakey and King all contributed for North Melbourne with singles, but most of the talk has been over this one. Was it a mark? Now watch Anthony Stevens.
Stevens turns around and...
Great mark.
Well...
It's a great mark, John. That's all there is to it.
Well, look, he does everything right, but I don't reckon at any stage Stevens controls the footy. Kelly ends up coming down with it, so I don't think... Kelly does come down with the footy, KB. No worries.
Let's see it again.
Oh, we might get another
We've
chance.
seen it fall. We've seen it fall. We're listening to Rocket go berserk. We're going to take a break. At the moment, the traffic to Tony Lockett is being plugged pretty well, and down on the boundary line, an almost summary dipper quickly.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sandy. Rocket very unhappy about that first quarter. He said it was lazy football. You were playing like you did 2 weeks ago, and that wasn't good against Melbourne.
Thanks, Dipper. Stevens kicks down to half forward. Dunkley chances his arm. Away he goes. A long kick back to half forward once again. Oh, big fly by Archer. Sensational player is the number 11.
Doesn't he attack the ball in flight? He put his name all over that TW Sharon on that occasion.
Finds Shannon Grant. Settle down against his old side. Penetrating kick up over the centre. Allison was down in front, got a hand to it. Back towards Stevens it goes. Another one to Rock from a standing start. He pumps it into half forward. Longmire lost it. He had the chance. Bays also wants to be careful. Sat over it for a couple of seconds and is still there at the bottom of the pack with his new teammate Wayne Schwass. Another bounce to take place. 5-5 plays 2-3 at quarter time. Longmire does the ruck work. Schwass going nowhere, but he's making sure that Anthony Stevens, his old sparring partner, is right there with him.
And Sandy, it's interesting to see what Johnny Stevens is trying to do to Shannon Grant. He's deep in the forward 50-metre zone for the Sydney Swans, but they've made the change, North Melbourne. Shannon Grant's gone to O'Loughlin, and Archer's picked up John Stevens, who's gone deep.
Luff out of defence for Sydney. Kicks wide there. Saddington, a very impressive young player. Looks to have a great future. Kicks the ball long. O'Loughlin in front, coming across was McKernan. Tried to slap the ball. Quick hands, comes out to Kelly. He's going for goal number 2. He's got it.
That's exactly what the Sydney Swans teams have got to do. When they get the ball across midfield, out in the wings, especially at the MCG, they've got to channel all their energies to get the ball back into the centre corridor. That's where Stafford is, opposed to McKernan in the true centre half-forward position. Lachlan now, as we said, was got Shannon Grant. On that occasion, it was Byron Pickett, but the ball come to ground. Good run by Kelly. He overlapped the situation, ran the lines fairly well and hard, and converted in a terrific manner. Regulation snap goal.
2 goals to Paul Kelly. Sydney closed the gap. McKernan floats high. Robert Scott couldn't take it cleanly. Stevens Anthony off the ground. Rock looking for the free kick. Schwass plays on. Just pokes it clear, then goes again. Almost taken high. Stafford's hand pass is going to be okay. Creswell off to Kelly. The skipper's away again from the centre of the ground. He pulls it in towards half forward, but David King just drops back. Forever dangerous across half back. Takes the mark and defends to the outer side. Looks towards centre wing. Rock used Stevens as a step ladder. He has support from McPherson and now Maxfield. Stewie Maxfield's dangerous with that left foot. Lockett's got a height advantage here. Martin does the roving and almost had his head taken off. And Mickey's going to win this one again.
They just can't find the space in this 15-metre mark over here at the moment. Sydney Swans, they're certainly getting the ball up there today. Martin from fullback. Short to McCartney. Now no one within 15 metres, so he's got a little bit of time to maybe set up Abraham. Wharf was the effective spoiler. Bays at the back. Comes off the boot of Bell and ricochets over the line.
Sandry, the North Melbourne defence are really overplaying the situation. While the ball's in flight, it's guys like Pickett and Archer, King and Pike and McCartney are really trying to get to that contest where the ball is about to land. They're really backing their own instincts and confidence.
North Melbourne by 14 points. Schwass having a terrific game. Kicks the ball down, looking for Green. Bundled out of the way this time by Archer. Just got a touch of the fumbles. Green does well, gets the ball back. Saddington from a very, very acute angle has just missed to the right.
Once again, KB, we see the value of keeping the ball alive, especially when Green was initially looked like he was out of the contest. North were going to take control. He committed his body, kept the ball alive and tapped it into the path of Saddington.
Pickett made the one game last year, formerly of Port Adelaide. Has been so good for North Melbourne across half back. There's Dunkley this time, beating Carey. Feeds it off to Creswell. Kicks a poor one. Marked by Allison inside the centre square. The veteran of over 200 games, Winston Abraham, was the target. The excitement machine had it, lost it, goes to ground. 30 metres out from goal. Scholl also dragged down, taken away by Luff. Finds Maxfield on the half-back flank.
He's screaming for it down ground. He's got a couple of options. Going to be okay. They've got time. Nix was there. Plays on quickly. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Again, North Melbourne defence standing firm. Led by Archer across half back. Floats the hand pass across to Longmire. A little bit of time for Big John to look up towards half forward. McKernan in front of the pack. But reading it better than anyone was Mark Bays. Plays on quickly to McPherson. He chips in towards the middle. That's okay. Stafford's there. He's got a player running down the ground. That's McPherson again. In towards Lockett. Lockett stands his ground. Martin again comes over the top and pelts it to the line.
It's now McKernan who's gone to the true centre half-forward position. They're using John Longmire in the similar role that McKernan was asked to do. But once again, we've seen Archer who's pushing back into the contest to help out Mickey Martin on Tony Lockett.
Paul Roos having a spell on this very dark and overcast day in Melbourne now. Green doing the ruck work. Comes back to Green again. Suckers up the ground for a sensational goal. He gets his second. 2 early goals in this second term, and Sydney well and truly back in the hunt.
I think that's what you'd call improvisation, Sandy. The loose ball there was a battle. Contest was given over the back, but the loose ball went left foot, flung out by Green. Great goal.
But Mick, fair enough, it is FA Cup final day.
That's appropriate, Sandy. A handy goal for the Sydney Swans team. Now they're back in this race. There's nothing in this game at all.
Brent Green just playing his 8th game of AFL football. Has come off the interchange bench and has booted 2 goals. Longmire in the ruck. Kelly has also kicked a couple of goals. Nix, all of a sudden, the Swans have gone up a cog. Archer got a fist to the ball. Danger here. Armat tries to feed it off. Green once more in the action. Kicks it off the ground. King paddles the ball along. Grant couldn't quite take control. Stevens under pressure now. North Melbourne's defence. Coming through hard is Maxfield. Slaps the ball back. Finds Stevens from the half-back line. Goes forward and finds Stafford. So he's outside of 50, trying to centre the ball, setting it up. Allison was a high flyer. Nix takes the mark.
And that's exactly what the Sydney Swans teams have got to do. They've got to try to get the ball back, as Stevens did on that occasion, in through Greg Stafford. If Longmire wants to push back into that hole, they've got to use Stafford up, who's going to float forward and be around that 50-metre arc. He's got to get into a usable option. They've got to go through him and make Dennis Pagan and the North Melbourne team counteract from there.
So Allison on the mark. And Nix from 45 metres out has split the centre.
Just sense now the Sydney Swan teams are starting to control the midfield. Their speed's always a critical factor. There's been a question mark in the midfield over North Melbourne's ability to sustain it long enough, hard enough in the league speed stakes. It's the Sydney Swans teams now that's starting to control the midfield area. They're running from the back half. Nix, McPherson, that type of personnel. They're pushing forward and trying to create more options through the midfield, the centre corridor part of the ground. And that was Nix at that occasion. Push forward, kicked a goal.
Allison in trouble with that right knee. He's being carried from the ground after attempting that spoil. As we go back into the centre, suddenly Sydney on a roll. 3 quick goals, 20 points down at quarter time, now 1. Kelly slipped at the critical stage. Has time to pick it up once again. Go again, pushing it out in front of Nix. Can't get an effective slap at it. Craswell is there. He needs help. Has it for a moment. Suddenly North try to go up a cog. Grant towards the boundary line. He's quite happy to just paddle it over.
Pushing the back page. Grant given a bit of a shove and deemed by Brett Allen to be sufficient to warrant a free kick.
Against Paul Acuria as Allison receives treatment to half forward, but again chopping it off is Daniel McPherson. McPherson has been very good this year. Now Bays can drift it into the middle or go wider to the outer side. He's got Saddington lurking there. He's had a very good game so far. O'Loughlin's got to beat a couple here, and he can't. Archer in front.
That's Archer's 4th mark for the day, Sandy. Doing that exactly what he's got to do. Overplay the situation, push back to create numbers across half-back.
Finds Longmire at centre wing. Into half forward. Carey again. "70 metres out. Kick's got to be good. Scholl is the man who's come onto the ground. Brett Allison in the hands of the trainers. And this is the reason why, Mick.
Doesn't look good.
I'm sure Dipper will bring us up to date with what's happening there as O'Loughlin is leaving the ground for Mooney. Kelly gets a steal. Mooney can take this. But Kelly decides to go long. Green was held. No free kick. Fans not happy. Neither is Green, as he has a couple of words.
I think Green overplayed it a bit. I mean, sure, there's a little grab there, but certainly not enough to warrant that reaction by Green. And I think he was just trying to pinch an easy one.
Swans have kicked 3 goals in this second quarter. North Melbourne goalless. They've come from 20 points down to trail by a point. McCartney from half-back. The Kangaroos to centre wing, looking for McKernan. Maxfield, they're doing well midfield now, the Swans. Swash has been a big winner. Kicks the ball wide, great vision. Finds Stevens, who's a thumping kick. It's all opens up now. Been marked by Mooney. He's just come off the interchange bench.
And on the right side for a left footer, KB.
Yeah, what's happening is that because Lockett obviously favouring a knee, he is not leading for the ball. He's been hanging back just right from the start of the game. And so they're centering the ball and looking for other options, 30 metres out from goal. That's why they're going to have a lot of goal kickers, 30 to 35, 40 metres out from goal.
Well, he's kicked 5 goals for the season. Mooney, can he bend it back? Looks like he's pushed it right. Through for a minor score.
We saw Brett Allison come off the ground, and bad news for him. He has his medial ligament all iced up there, and the doctor, Harry, just said he won't be back on the ground. So bad news for Brett.
Scores level here at the MCG. If you've just joined us, David King kicked the first goal of the match. Now he brings the ball back into play out of defence. Gives it across to Anthony Stevens. Stevens looks in towards the middle of the ground. McKernan was one of his targets, unable to take it cleanly. Tackling has been fierce by both sides, initially by North Melbourne and now by Sydney. And Matthew Nix was doing it in style on that occasion. Suddenly this game has changed quite dramatically. Now Lacuria, who gave away that free kick a few moments ago, has a chance to put them 6 points clear.
And you're right in what you said about the tackling. Sydney's ferocity and their intensity to tackle, Sandy, that's been the difference in the first sort of 12 minutes of play in this second quarter. They're getting the ball back into the centre corridor, and this is the reason why Paul Lacuria's got a chance to kick his first for the day.
And his first for the season with the Sydney Swans. More practice required. But they have their nose in front for the first time in this match. Mark Dawson in the background there, Dennis Pagan and Norm Dare to his right. And Shannon Grant. Big pack of players. Saddington has got Corey, held it for a long time. Stevens forced to kick wide, and in doing so goes out of bounds on the floor. 1 point the difference. Here's Kelly. Long bomb in towards half forward. Again, Lockett doesn't fly. Snap out of there. That was put him 7 points up. Robbie Armat.
Disco Armat, the next teammate of mine, Sandy. That's one thing he's renowned for, getting front and square to the contest. 3 North Melbourne players decided to go up, Mickey Martin, Longmire and Archer, but it was Robbie Armat who got front and square to the pack. How did he thread it through there, I'll never know. That's great awareness by the young man. Could have been touched by Mick Martin, as the North Melbourne players seem to stipulate, but it's a goal to Sydney Swans.
Sydney by 7 points. They trail by 20 points at quarter time. Stafford caught this time by Stevens, crashing his way through with Scholl inside the centre square. Wobbles the kick back to 50. Coming out in front is Longmire. Goes to ground. McPherson over the top. Kelly. He's booted a couple of goals. Captain Courageous kicks the ball out wide. Looking for Lacuria. Dragged down by Shannon Grant. It's a loose ball. Pounced on by Harvey. Off the interchange bench. Goes to Scott. Goes short. Back to Brodie Anderson. Back to Grant. 55 metres out. This could bounce through. It's a great kick. North Melbourne within a point.
And that's what Shannon Grant's been renowned for. He is a beautiful kick on the run, even in a set shot situation. But it's the first time he's been able to push into the forward 50-metre area and use his great abilities, that being his kicking strengths. He assesses the options. He knows he's 55. He's approaching 50. He took it upon himself. He's seen a vacant goal square there, and he drilled the ball in the appropriate manner. Great goal by Shannon Grant, a team lifter for the North Melbourne team.
Back to a goal-for-goal game now. 1 point the margin. Stafford and McKernan, neither effective, but McKernan comes away with the kick, so he is the winner on this occasion. Carey propped for a moment, trying to get time to push it down to a teammate. North fans looking for a free kick, but it's going down the ground and the other way as Stafford takes it and plays on for Sydney. Looks towards Green at half forward. Has Mooney flying there with him. Kelly waits down. Kelly needs assistance. He's got players making space in the forward line. The kick is good, and Green takes the mark. He's kicked 2 already, Brent Green. He's as cool as they come. 1 in the first term, or 1 in the second.
Again, Sandy, Peter McKenna here. Again,
Hello, Pete.
Again, a perfect case where Lockett waited back, didn't come out. And again, they had another option, ducking into that area in front of goal, and this is working well for the Swans.
Sure. Peter McKenna in the stands. One of the greatest goal kickers of all time. Brent Green is looking for his 3rd. And a chance to, again, open up a 7-point margin. He's done exactly that.
Yeah, terrific play by the Sydney Swans teams. They brought the ball into their forward 50-metre area in this quarter 5 times to 12. They've certainly led the race in the midfield. Kelly's starting to work right. It was Green then who actually competed the ball across the 50-metre zone, but when the loose ball come to ground level, he pushed back into that hole, as Peter McKenna spoke about. Here's the kicking action of Brent Green. Very purposeful, kicks through the ball in the appropriate manner. That's a great goal. He's 3rd for this afternoon. Been a very important player.
Sydney buys 7 points. Stafford against McKernan. Swass sets up play. Kelly, again they come forward, a big bomb. Here's Plugger pushing and shoving in front's Archer. They've really closed down Tony Lockett. Mighty Mick does all the pushing and shoving, allows another opponent or teammate to come through to set it up. Harvey from centre half back. Kicks the ball long, looking for Scholl. Looks like he's recovered. Pounced on it, does well at ground level. Feeds the ball out wide. Stevens, inside 50. Trying to bend it back. Puts it through for a behind.
Kevin, I think it's very important for the Sydney Swan team to know that Glenn Archer's actually doing that, knowing that he's directly opposed to Jason Mooney. Jason Mooney's got to get into usable spots and create movement across the half-forward line so he sees his teammates see him and use the ball through him.
Rowan Wharf in the back pocket. Took it from Swass. So a transfer of play. Great chasing and tackling. This could open up. McPherson back to Swass. Runs hard now out of defence. Kicks the ball and finds Dunkley. Great vision, Dunkley. From the half-back flank goes short to Mooney. Some rebound action here from Sydney. This boy's very impressive. Young Saddington inside the centre square. Kicks the ball wide. Lockett this time. Just can't quite make the grade. Just, I think Peter McKenna's right. Troubled by that knee problem. Just lacked a bit of zip. Nix try to just tap it down. Taken away by Pickett. Kicks a poor one. It's been marked by Kelly. Bayes wants the ball on the half-forward line. He's been ignored. Finds Stafford. Good 60 metres out. Still loose players. Some loose checking. Stevens, as casual as you like, bangs it through.
That's all the North Melbourne team, Sydney Swans team have to do. It's so important when they've got opposition players who are drifting back. Naturally, they're Lockett conscious at this time, but it's the Sydney Swans players who are playing it smart, holding the ball up at about 60, 70 metres out from goal, and it's the link players, the runners who are overlapping the lines are getting into that hole, and that's the reason why they're getting used, and they've got to use the ball effectively. John Stevens pushed forward for the first of his goal this afternoon.
Some concern now for Dennis Pagan. 2 straight kicks in it. Sydney leading as we go back into the middle. McKernan goes early. Stafford has the opportunity then to push it wide to the outer side. Robbie Armatt's got to beat a couple, including Pickett. Hand pass a little too slick initially for Saddington, but he's equal to the task. Bends it round the body back towards Creswell. Couldn't take it cleanly. The door may open for Scott or Kelly. Kelly caught. Gets the hand pass out the back door. Rock goes to ground.
High tackle, Sandy.
And a free kick for a high tackle to be taken by Anthony Rock. He's spent some time struggling to find good form this year. Let's hope he can. King back to half forward. Dunkley wanted the boundary line. Bayes wants Schwartz and has got him. Luff. Those players streaming down the middle. Take your pick. It's McPherson or Nix. They're all there. Now Mooney onto the left foot, centering into Green or Stafford at half forward. And Stafford takes the mark.
Stafford should have a shot for a goal, probably, Sandy.
Well, he's going to go wide because he had Jason Mooney who drifted down there, but it's a very poor kick, and it's put the pressure on Mooney now. Pickett beats him, but he's not out of the woods yet. Armatt does very well. Goes back to Mooney. He got the call from Stafford. The hand pass a little too slick. Now a chance for Anthony Stevens. Looks towards half forward. North want the next goal, but a lovely mark by Rowan Wharf chops them off.
Such an improved player from Fitzroy. Rowan Wharf kicks the ball looking for Mooney. They've got the numbers at the 4. Coming through was Kelly. Leaves it now for Maxfield. Sets it up to Armatt. Quick hands. Gets the ball across to Nix. Screaming for the ball was Maxfield. He's been ignored. Gives it back to Stevens. He's tied up on the half-forward line. Stevens goes back towards centre half-forward. Coming out is Mooney, and he's got it. They're pretty big on the forward line and quick. Got Green, got Mooney, got Lockett, got Saddington. Got Paul Kelly.
Got class.
Got class. Well, he's booted two. He'll be kicking from 60 metres. Plugger's in the square.
Back in from there, Mick.
A little bit far out, I think, Sandy.
Kelly gets under the ball. So it's one for the high flyers. McKernan comes charging out. Had it, lost it. Armat looks dangerous. Maxfield goes to the ground. Hewitt. Grant overruns the ball. Again, Armat appeals for the free kick. Rock gets it back to Grant. North Melbourne out of danger. Kicks back towards the centre wing. Abraham has it thumped away by Wharf. Mooney got the bounce he wanted. Great interception that time by Harvey. Gets the ball back. Scott under pressure. Pumps it back towards the centre wing, pushing and shoving. Luff too tall from behind.
He's on centre wing. Again, goes into the middle and finds Kelly, who's been very busy. It's another rainmaker. Slapped to half forward, waiting down is Grant for North Melbourne. Penetrating hand pass to accommodate David King. Around the body he goes, wanting McCartney. Oh, almost thrown out the back. And it could be costly because Wiry Winston comes dashing through. Shoots in towards full forward. Terry's at the back. Can't take the mark, and good defensive work once again. Sees one behind the result.
Sandy, I mentioned that Rodney Ecourt, his plays lazy a quarter times, a lot more purpose in their running, and some of the link players, such as Kelly, certainly got back into the game and certainly causing a lot of trouble in the middle of the ground and ran at the half-forward line.
Yeah, you're right. Did also Brad Seymour's just coming onto the ground too for a run.
Stafford has been quite sensational. 19 possessions to Greg Stafford, and I think we can't overlook the performance of Wayne Swass as well with poor Kelly.
Kelly in the second term has been fantastic, hasn't he?
13 possessions in this quarter.
Oh. Luff. John Stevens, who's also been in good form in recent weeks. Sydney growing in confidence as the season unfolds. Seymour looking for the early touch. Pokes it down towards Maxfield. Back to Stevens again. Their backup support is marvellous. Schwass in towards half forward. And this time Kelly caught behind. Anthony Stevens takes them. Swings wide towards Blakey. Look out, Johnny. You're gone from the side. You'll be beat.
That is a tackle, John Russo, isn't it?
Yeah, they certainly are good. I mean, there's just no escaping a tackle like that. Must be a terrible feeling when you get thrown to the deck by...
But what a great effort by Tony Lockie. He had to chase Mick Martin all the way down to the centre of the ground, and because of that, he's got himself a kick now. Go for goal, son.
Smack bang in the middle of the ground. Well, he does with a taunt. And he almost gets onto it to half forward. McKernan takes the mark.
Gives it across to Rock, who comes away from the back pocket. Winston Abraham on the half-back flank. He's moved a long way up the ground. Spears the ball into Scholl. Too much carry on the ball. Nix gets it across to McPherson. They're terrific across the half-back line, using the ball well. Luff goes short, finds Armat. Looks also a much improved player from the one we saw at Collingwood. Stafford from outside of 50, trying to make ground. Seymour can't take it. And they'll throw it back in.
John Stevens has come off the ground. Looks like he has some sort of thigh injury. We'll keep up to date with that. It's an important move, that one.
Sydney by 11 points. It's been a 31-point turnaround. This man Green has booted 3 goals, 16 for Sydney. Youngster Saddington caught, feeds off the ball. Creswell, quick hands. Maxfield centres the ball. It was clever play, chipping in his Hewitt.
Evan Hewitt started on the bench. This young man, huge raps on him. Bell and Blakey are beaten by Armat, who's away to the right. And he's in trouble.
Looks like a hamstring, I think. Left hamstring, Sandy. He grabbed it straight away.
Obviously was giving him problems before. He's come out with it strapped. And now I think he's done his dash. So that's bad news too, because he was lurking
Looked
in that
dangerous,
scoring
didn't he?
zone. Yep. Anyway, play goes on the outer side. Saddington, shepherding done by Green. Lecuria in towards the pocket. And there's David King once more. Just over a minute remaining in this first half. An absorbing duel. First the ascendancy with North, then Sydney hitting back in this second term after their coach described them as a little lazy. There's been nothing lazy about this performance in the second term. Creswell round to Schwartz. He'll go bang on that left foot. Bit of a nudge from Archer. But he takes the mark. Armat, meantime, sideline. Grant to the half-back line. North are going to come away out of trouble and may well survive to half-time.
Winston Abraham, as the clock ticks away, now going to ground was Wharf, and he takes the free kick.
Just undisciplined on that occasion, John, by Corey McKernan off the ball.
Yep, I think it was a professional free kick. I think Corey thought that was the best option in the circumstances, just give one away.
Stafford has been magnificent in this first half, inside 50, so a chance for Sydney. Only seconds left. Maxfield can thump the ball. Lockett pushing and shoving. Too much carry again on the ball. They'll toss it in. Let's have a look at Robbie Armat here. This is where he hurts his hamstring. Just overstretching.
McKernan's just come off the ground, KB, replaced by John Longmire.
Green just try to take it out of the air. King weaves his way out of trouble. Gives it back to Pickett. Looking ahead for his options. Carries it to the half-back line. The siren sounds to end a terrific second quarter for Sydney. An entertaining first half. But full marks to Sydney. They've trailed by 20 points at quarter time. And at the main break, they'll lead by 12.
Yes, a 6-goal for second quarter for Sydney. And at the same time, they were able to restrict North Melbourne to 1-2 after North led by 20 points at the first change by John Harvey. And there's Mickey Martin. The honours are with Mick at the moment as Robbie Armat and Johnny Stevens take a break from the MCG, so do we. So here we go, the second half. It is Sydney by 2 goals. Coming back hard in the second quarter. McKernan contesting the ruck work, but he goes very, very early. Popped over the top for Schwartz. He's forced to soccer it down to half forward. Stolen by King. Gets the hand pass away to Anthony Rock. Rock kicks to half forward. North will be keen to get the first. They'll want to stay in touch. It's only a 2-goal margin, but as conditions deteriorate, that can be quite considerable. Carey around the body, a high ball in towards half forward. Luff tries to spoil, out the back to Kelly. He wanted Maxfield, almost steals it from Robert Scott. They lock it up between centre and half forward for North Melbourne. And umpire Mark McKenzie, the 28-year-old from Doncaster, comes in for a ball up.
It's interesting now, Sandy, the two guys that changed clubs, Swash from North Melbourne to Sydney and Shannon Grant from Sydney to North, are now playing on each other.
Well, we discussed the possibility of that prior to the game, didn't we, Mick? And it has happened, so it'll be interesting to see who has the edge. Schwartz has certainly had a good game so far, and Grant has been busy. From the throw-in, Peter Bell. Rock gives the hand pass away. It was Anderson who gets it to Stevens. Stevens pulls that ball in going for distance. It bends back, and it bounces through for one behind. Almost the perfect start they wanted to this third quarter.
We see there Bays just getting his hand on the ball. Swass has had a terrific first half along with Kelly. They were the catalyst, speak of the devil, in that second quarter when they came from a 20-point deficit to lead by 12 points at the main break. Seymour started on the interchange bench, keeps the ball alive. Now it trickles over and they'll toss it back in.
And Archer could be hurt too, KB.
There's Archer. Let's go to the boundary line. Big Dipper's there.
Yes, Kevin. Unfortunately, John Stevens won't take his place on the ground again, and with Robbie Armat. So there's two players who played quite well in that first half and a lot of run for the Sydney Swans. So they've got to cut for those players. It's very eerie down here at the moment.
In fact, two very important players, Dipper, and coming out is Bays marking in front of Johnny Longmire. Across to Stafford. Peter McKenna spoke about him before. He's had 10 marks, already 22 possessions. O'Loughlin between the halfback flank and centre wing, who's hardly had the ball today. The All-Australian last year, slapped on by Green, has been very impressive. Ball comes back. Maxfield centres the ball. Plugger with strength, couldn't take it on the second grab. recovers, snap, he's got it. Plugger kicks his first goal.
That just goes to show the recovery and the great ability Tony Lockett's got. First of all, to out-bustle and out-muscle Mick Martin, but he had the great awareness, the presence of mind to recover quickly, and he's been renowned for this over his career. He really does straighten up. He is a very good architect when he kicks around his body. He looks at the goals, he guides the ball down in the appropriate way and kicks truly. That's what champions are made of.
Been a long wait, but it's been worth waiting for. Tony Lockett at his best, kicks his first. Sydney go further ahead. Kelly caught by McKernan out of the middle, tries to get it clear. Rock up towards half forward. Floating across the pack was Dunkley, couldn't take it cleanly. Carey tries to inspire his teammates, kicks across the ground. Luff has got it locked up there. Blakey sees it spill free, gives it out to Robert Scott. He runs into a wall on that 50 and he's going nowhere.
Players are finding it hard to stay on their feet on the ground here, Sandy, because the mists come down and the ground is very slippery, especially in the middle.
Dipper, it's not raining, is it? It's sort of a fog.
It's not
and mist.
raining, but there is a lot of dew on the grass at the moment.
Okay, mate. As you say, difficult conditions for the players and very, very dark. The lights surprisingly didn't go on until half-time.
Well, these players are still wearing moulded soles from the first half, so that's the reason why they find it unstable on the ground.
But Dipper, a 3-goal margin suddenly takes on somewhat different proportions, doesn't it?
That's right, Sandy.
To centre wing then, King was the flyer from the back, unable to take it. Carey may leave it for his teammate. There was a slight indecision there between Carey and Pike. Now it comes back to Carey from half back. McKernan, well, he tried to take it in front of his teammate in Stevens. Socket off the ground by Maxfield, but straight to Grant. Shannon Grant to the outer side. Wharf comes over the top. He's an effective spoiler. Rock pops it wide to accommodate Winston Abraham. Still outside 50. Short little chip for Peter Bell.
And Troy Luft has also come off the ground with an injury. Looks like he's got a very bad corked leg, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
Well, that's 3 down for Sydney now. So they're running out on the bench. And Peter Bell is hoping to close the gap.
And it's those ground level players in Winston Abraham's, Bell, Rock that really got to start to get into this game, because they're the ones that have got to generate some run and flow through the midfield. If they can push forward into usable spots, it takes the responsibility off Carey and Longmire, the key position posts, and they're the type of players that have got to stand up in this tight situation.
4 goals to Peter Bell so far this season, and he hasn't missed a game. Has he missed that? North fans like it. They come back. Peter Bell gets his first, and North get their first for the quarter.
He's a very handy player, Mick, Peter Bell.
Yeah, he's been good since he made his debut a couple of years ago. He's been a very consistent contributor. He's been a goal kicker. He can ignite its spark. He's a very good crumbing, roving forward. But as today's wore on, he sort of started to get better as the game wore on. He's had 9 possessions now for the first of his goals.
North Melbourne drag it back to 11 points. McKernan beaten again by Stafford. McKernan ricochets back into his hands. Tumbles it up towards 50. Scholl has struggled for form. Stevens has battled hard today. Goes back towards centre half forward. The kick's a poor one. Has been taken by Lucuria. They break quickly, the Swans. Creswell at half back. Very dark at the MCG. Kicks the ball down, looking for Crouch. Spent most of the first half on the interchange bench. Great tackle by the youngster. Pickett throws the ball away. Creswell rockets the ball out wide to McPherson. Waited for it, ducks the head, did well. Comes away once more. Lucuria tumbles the ball forward, and the veteran Blakey chips in and takes it in front of Kelly. And down on the ground, that looks like Rock. In the arms and hands there of the trainers as King comes away and kicks the ball up towards the front edge of the centre square. It's been taken by McKernan. They trail by 11 points, the Kangaroos. He goes for distance. He unloads a big bomb into the square. Longmire couldn't take it, trying to just crash his way through as McPherson, all tied up. And they'll ball it up just 15 metres out from goal. There's Rock. He's up. You can see, looked like he copped a knee in the side. those ribs would be very, very sore. This is young Crouch coming in. Purely an accident, but quite painful for Rock. So a big chance for North Melbourne. Bell has already kicked a goal in this third term. Grant now playing on Swash, goes to ground. Loose ball, Bell taps it on. Nix happy to paddle the ball towards the boundary line, and they'll toss it back in.
11 points the margin in favour of Sydney, but a few casualties in the list on both camps starting to mount up, as you can see.
Just that right knee copped him.
Yeah, that would hurt, wouldn't it? Here's Scholl. He's a goal kicker, but this time he's away to the left. Bays going with the flight of the ball, very difficult one to grab. Unable to control it, another behind goes on the ball. 10 points the margin. Favouring Sydney, who at this moment are premiership favourites. And they could well firm should they take the 4 points today. Or will it be the 96 champions who will firm? Kick into the mist. Carey was one of the flyers. Wide to the outer side now, but since McKelly, he may be in business. He gets a cruel bounce, but he slam dunks Anthony Stevens over the line.
And wasn't that a contest between two competitors? That's what tackling's all about, KB.
Throw in on the outer side. Troy Luff on the bench. Schwass goes again. Caught. Hewitt had him. And that kick is out of bounds on the full. So North to get some respite. Robert Scott will bring it back into play. He heads to the outer side. McKernan. Creswell was waiting down, but his hand pass goes straight to Bell, off to King. North out of trouble. David King's away. Over the centre of the ground, up towards the left half forward. Blakey takes a fine mark. The veteran dashes clear. 55 from home. He lets one go. He wants Longmire. Don't ride off North Melbourne. Johnny Longmire has battled this year. Just a couple of games under his belt, has not kicked a goal for the season, but now has an excellent chance of bringing North to within 4 points of Sydney. 20 metres out. He does not miss. Goal number 1 for the season to Johnny Longmire.
It just goes to see the importance of David King running off half-back. As soon as he gets the ball in the centre corridor, because of his leg speed, he covers the ground so quick, but he's also a penetrating player with his ball use. He found Blakey on that occasion. Blakey had no hesitation in playing on, getting the ball into the forward 15-metre arc as quickly as possible, gave Longmire the chance to mark on the one-on-one situation, used his body well, went back and kicked a goal.
North Melbourne throwing down the gauntlet now to Sydney. They creep within 4 points. McKernan in the ruck. Down to Bell, who's been dangerous in this third term. The Kangaroos come forward. Seymour got a bad bounce. Longmire tried to tap it down. Rock, who's recovered. Back to Longmire. Taken by Bays, had it, lost it. It's tough in the clinches. Longmire does well. Rockets the ball back to Grant. Has the ball knocked out of his arm. Stafford, who's been the star of the game, comes back towards Scott. Quick hands. McKernan runs through the centre square. Unloads a big bomb. Chance for Carey. Couldn't take it. Again, great defensive play by Sydney. And Peter McKenna, before the game, we spoke about Wayne Carey and Dunkley. How have you seen that?
I think Dunkley's done a terrific job, I think. He plays in front, Kev. That's the main thing. He's a tough and hard. Has been getting in front of Carey. Carey's trying to take that big chest mark from behind, but he still looks dangerous, the big fella.
Well, there he is. He's got it, Pete. He's dangerous, Peter McKenna. He's kicked the goal. North Melbourne in front.
Yeah, you can never write off champions, there's no doubt about that, as Peter McKenna just said. But here's the non-ruckman against the non-ruckman. It was just that Carey got Dunkley underneath the flight of the ball. He watched the ball, recovered quicker on that occasion. Should have probably been more Sydney Swans players around at the fall of the ball. Easy shot for goal from Wayne Carey, but you can never write off a great player as Wayne Carey is.
I think we might see Anthony Rock go from the field. He looked to be in quite a bit of pain then, Mick, holding his side.
2 goals to Wayne Carey. North Melbourne are back and leading. The seesawing, absorbing struggle continues. Stafford sprints out of the middle, runs his full distance. Lockett, Martin, Lockett, playing from behind. Strong mark taken by Glenn Archer.
And that's Archer's 7th mark for the day. He's really pushed back into that hole to give support to Mickey Martin. Great team play.
And David King takes on Lockett. He gets away, and he's very pleased that he did. Back towards centre wing. Now Sydney under the pump as Stevens comes surging forward for the Northerners. Up towards left half forward. But it's chopped off once more. North have kicked the last 3. Sydney have got to try and stop this attack. It's Nix coming in towards the middle. He's got Kelly almost
That's
down
off.
left half forward. Call to play on. So Kelly does. He says, get out of my way, Pickett. Up towards half forward. Now full forward. Lockett again from behind. But it's the player in front. And it's Mickey Martin. A little sorer, a little sorrier, but he does have the football.
Paul Kelly complaining to the umpire why he called play on.
Well, he moved off the line. That's why they called play on. No doubt about that, John Russo.
No,
Kelly.
and I think a 50-metre penalty probably would have been reasonable in that circumstance too, KB. Once he deviated, what for? Because there was no need for Tony Lockett to treat Mickey Martin the way he did when he put him on the ground.
Archer comes over the top to Pickett. Pickett from a standing start. Well, Maxfield will intercept, but he's got the numbers against him. Pike and Scott, again, indecision. Scott brings it away. Pushes it in towards the centre. Carey the hand pass to Chandler. He's flattened behind play. Pike picks it up now. Martin Pike slams it up towards half forward. They're tough, North Melbourne, and they'll go all day, don't worry. Scholl comes inside to Winston. Abraham from 45. Bends it back, but not far enough. 1 behind on the board to North.
You can see Anthony Rock there looking pretty sore. Took that heavy knock from young Crouch before. So Dipper might keep an eye on Anthony Rock. McPherson to bring the ball back into play. North Melbourne by 3 points. They trailed by 12 at halftime, but led by 20 at quarter time. Here's Carey. The King's got it inside the centre square. Goes short. Finds King. Some run out of defence. Grant feeds the ball off. Shoveled off that time. Stevens back to King. Big bomb. Misses.
They're moving that ball again as soon as they get possession of it. They've got players running all over the ground. And nothing better to see David King coming down from North Melbourne.
But they're the team now, Dipper, that North Melbourne are starting to transfer play. They're chipping it away. They're using the free man's free because Sydney Swans at this stage of the game, they're not really picking up in the defensive manner we know them for.
Swash to Seymour.
Troy Luff back on the ground, going straight to full forward.
Kicks the ball wide. Stafford's the target. It's been so good today. How many marks is that, Mick?
That's Stafford's 11th mark for the day.
From the half-back line. Dunkley. Pickett from behind. Grant paddles the ball over in front of Michael O'Loughlin, who has really struggled to get into the game today, Michael O'Loughlin. He's just had the 2 kicks.
9 minutes remaining in this third quarter. One that at the moment has belonged to North. Schwass taken to ground by Hewitt. North by 4 points. Hewitt and Green again. Pike to Scott. Skinhead hand pass. Down towards Abraham. It doesn't sit for him, and Seymour defends. Comes back towards Stuart and Maxfield. Robert Scott is right there with him. Maxfield was in blistering form against Collingwood. Picks up another possession now. Towards Green. Oh, went up early but almost plucked it. Grant gives it off to David King. He loves this David King. Takes him on, and this time he gets pinged. Ball spilled free. It's play on as Hewitt kicks it long. Carey, no! Man in front's his teammate John Blakey, and I think he almost caught one on the back of the head for his troubles. Have a look at this. There's Blakey, and it was Longmire coming in behind him.
Sandy, I know David King got caught on that occasion, but I think that risk-taking has become a part of their game in this quarter. They're prepared to run from the line behind, and when they see teammates doing that, it really senses them enthusiasm and gives them a chance to run.
Well, all his teammates going up to David King, and now they go up to this man because he's kicked the goal, John Blakey. He's got his second. And this North team are a very good one. They steady again. 10-11 plays 9-7.
Yeah, there's nothing in this game now. It's a real stabilising effect now the Sydney Swans have to entail in their game, because it's been the last 4 goals that North Melbourne have kicked. What a terrific mark here by John Blakey. Went back and kicked the goal. He's playing half forward at this stage.
And there's David King on screen with his jumper. Half ripped off. But that run out of defence certainly has been quite inspiring to North Melbourne. They lead by 10 points. Again, they come out of the centre square to the half-forward line. Carey trying to juggle the ball with Dunkley. Wharf tried to feed the ball out. And they'll ball it up on the front edge of the centre square.
Craig Scholl's off the ground now, and Jason McCartney playing a full forward. Unusual position to see him there.
Well, he's been in defence most of the year. Dipper. Might be interesting, Peter McKenna, to tell us what do you think of McCartney as a forward?
Well, as long as it's kick in the air, he's not really a quick player, Kevin, so fairly strong and has played there before. And as we watch this bounce, I notice Wayne Carey is playing a long way up the ground. He's taking Dunkley right up around the centre square area and playing in that region, then running back. Also watching the Swans, when it's kicked to the forward line, they're obviously under instructions to punch it on over the back for the smaller players.
Well, there's McKernan doing exactly that. Again, it's flicked out. Stevens just wobbles the ball forward. Hot pursuit is Johnny Longmire, pushed out of the way that time by Bays, and McPherson takes it over and they'll toss it back in.
Kevin, I think it's fair to say too, North Melbourne have adjusted a little bit better than the Sydney Swans because of the dewy ground. They seem to be, their ball handling seems to be a little bit surer than what the Sydney Swan team are at the moment.
Paul Roos sideline, Bell grounded, Seymour defends. To the outer side, Pickett leads in the race. Keeps it in play to accommodate Shannon Grant, who was taken late. Short little pass goes down towards Pike on centre wing, and look at them pounce on that. Chandler on top.
How many times have we seen North Melbourne this year just come back at our side? I mean,
is Swatter going to kiss Steve-O there?
I was saying that earlier, Dipper, to Mick. I mean, North Melbourne have fought their way back from behind it after half-time, time and time again this year.
Yes, although on a couple of occasions they have fought their way back and have not been able to go on with it. I think it was it Fremantle? One springs to mind. But they're very, very dangerous. Kelly and Grant.
Had a big second quarter, didn't he,
yes.
Paul Kelly, with 13 possessions.
Huge. Blakey in the thick of things. Pushed down towards the line once more with Scott and Creswell. Stevens. Robert Scott. Premiership player. Now with some 214 games under his belt.
Well, Mick, you told us before that Shannon Grant is now playing on Wayne Swass. Grant now with 16 possessions and Swass with 17, so they're balancing the ledger.
Yeah, it's interesting where what's their starting points. In general play, Shannon Grant goes to half-back. Naturally, Wayne Swass goes with him. But whoever appears to be across the half-back used as a sweeper role, they have the more influence on the game.
Bit of psyching going on there with Schwass and Stevens. They'd know each other very well and their respective games. No one on the mark for Pickett, so he lets a long one go. Carey's his man. Can't quite take it. Pressure on the defence once again. McPherson unable to take it cleanly. And Peter Bell nips in front of Andrew Dunkley. This end has proven to be the scoring end as Kelly juggles it.
then skips clear. Kicks back towards centre wing. Now King will be the spoiler from behind. He is. Pushes down in front for Stevens. Saddington had a good first half. Has been quiet in this term. Sydney need a spark. Maybe they may get it. Saddington gives the hand pass away. Creswell goes to ground. They look dangerous now. Maxfield's a left footer. He likes it from there. He kicks for goal, but he's pulled it to the right.
So I like the attack on the ball young Jared Crouch has got. He runs straight, doesn't he?
He was terrific then, and we can see Mooney on the interchange bench there, along with Stafford having a bit of a break. Certainly he's been a great player in this game so far. Stafford, that kick in finds Chandler, who's at the true centre-half back position. And Lucuria and Saddington also for the Swans in that last passage of play. So some youngsters trying to get the Swans back to North Melbourne. Stevens starting to have an impact on the game to Bell, who's been good in this third quarter. 45 metres out. Peter Bell has kicked a goal. Has he right on the line? It's been taken by Seymour. He's been so good for the Swans over the last couple of seasons. He's had a few injuries this year, but one of their best defenders from the last line of defence. Now the ball is coming back.
Once the mark has advanced 5 metres, then the player with the kick has to bring the ball into play over Johnny Longmire's head. So that's the reason the ball's now coming back. The mark was actually close to the goal line, but Johnny Longmire brought back 5 to give him room. Once he gives him room, he must bring the ball in over his head.
North by 9 points. Seymour. Low trajectory kick. It's been marked by Rock. It's like he's recovered from that heavy knock to the ribs. Good 55 metres out. Pops it up to the front of the square. So a chance for a specky. Here comes Carey off hands. Bayes happy to push it through for a minor score.
KB, I think it's fair to say it's even the smaller players, the likes of Stevens, King, Bell and Rock, have really lifted their work rate, and between them in this quarter they've had 29 possessions.
I think Sydney too have been somewhat hamstrung by injuries, which has made the Eid plan a little more difficult to implement. Here's Pickett. Beats Lucuria and Maxfield. Bell into half forward. North looking dangerous, but Dunkley. Great confidence in his own judgment. Takes a fine overhead mark. Roos has come back out onto the ground. Welcome back, Roosie. Maxfield's beaten by Pickett. Archer to ground. Out the back door it comes. A chance now to clear for Nix. Off to Creswell. They need something, Sydney. Lockett on a lead. It drops short of him and Brent Green. He's got Saddington alone in the square. If he finds Saddington, they're a chance. Directly in front. And 25 metres out. Sydney have kicked just 1-1 to this stage in this quarter. Saddington up to today had kicked only a couple of goals in his 5 games this year. But this time he's made no mistake. He's kicked another one. And his first for the day. Sydney hit back.
And certainly young Brent Green's been a very promising player. He's come and meets the ball. He leads directly at the ball carrier, but this is great presence of mind. Get back from the mark quick. Look at your options who's pushing into the forward 25-metre area from goal. He's seen Saddington release the ball, perfectly weighted kick, and Saddington did the right thing. Took the mark, went back and kicked a well-deserved goal.
Sydney now drag it back to 4 points. Under 2 minutes of action left in this third quarter. McKernan jumps high, got his hands on the ball, flicked over there by Winston Abraham. Swass was bundled out of the way by Stevens and then tried to kick it on. Still a loose ball. Going in hard is Crouch. They'll ball it up on the edge of the centre square. Young Crouch on screen.
Do you have to admire the likes of Anthony Stevens with his second and third efforts, KB, at ground level?
Well, he's been an important player in this third term, along with Peter Bell. We saw Swash and Kelly dominate in the second quarter. Here's the excitement machine. Winston Abraham pops it up. He's looking for Longmire. They need a crummer. Martin Pike runs in the goal and bangs it through.
and loves it.
He's had a big game. He's kept Michael O'Loughlin virtually kickless for the game. The dangerous half-forward flank has just had the 2 kicks today, and Martin Pike. Tremendous play. He's kicked his first goal.
And also, KB, he was accountable for Paul Roos, who's only had one handball early in the game. He was benched. Martin Pike's been very influential.
Again, North Melbourne steadies in the dying minutes of this vital third term. Free kick going the way of the Roos. So they've got time to score once more. Green on the mark. McKernan, a long bomb. Longmire spoilt by Bays, but he'll go again. He needs assistance. Roos beaten by Hewitt. Roos goes again. Short to Bays. Short to Maxfield. Whips it out wide. He's got a couple of options there. Suddenly they're out of trouble. Lucuria kicks up towards centre wing. Strong mark taken by Saddington. Maybe time now for Sydney. His centering kick is not a good one, however. Sydney have the numbers. Bell picks it up for Grant. He's beautifully claimed. Loses it. Lucuria sent to give it to Schwass. Schwass throws it even wider to Creswell. O'Loughlin for a rare touch. Round the body he goes. Kelly was his target. Couldn't take the mark. Maxfield, seconds ticking away. Roos could take the mark on 50. Wants to go. Does. The hand pass over the top. Green's under pressure. He snaps. Oh, what a snap by this young man. Right on the siren. They don't come much better than that. 4 goals to Brent Green, and that was an absolute gem, Mick McGuan.
Certainly was. He just good play by Roosie here. He assessed his options, knew Green had space to run into. But this goes to show what a good player's all about. Knowing when to come back onto your dominant side, assess the options, have the poise, have the belief in your own ability. That's a very hard kick for goal. But Brent Green was equal to the task.
And didn't he ride with it? He bent it all the way there. But they got the 6 points. And this is set up for a wonderful final quarter here at the MCG. A game that has ebbed and flowed. North Melbourne had the early ascendancy. They led by 20 points. Sydney turned it round to lead by 12 at half-time. And Rockets having a bit to say there to Michael O'Loughlin and a few other charges. Obviously trying to get O'Loughlin into the game. And at 3/4 time, it is North Melbourne leading by 4 points as we take a break. Obviously saying a little more than, well, it's good to have you back in the side. But I'm sure it is. Final quarter here at the MCG. Stafford has been hard at it all day. Wins it. Grant tries to take it out of the middle. First goal, very, very important, especially for North, if they could sneak 10 points clear. Sydney will have something to say as Archer, though, cuts across again. And he's done it all day, and he's been so strong in defence.
9 marks to Archer.
Been fantastic, hasn't he? Very, very dark here at the MCG now. Pickett goes back to King. The misty fog appears to have cleared for the moment. King to the outer side. McKernan leaves it for the smaller man Chandler. He's almost down to centre wing. Towards right half forward, towards Dunkley and Carey. Let's go down to the boundary line. Dipper?
Yes, Rodney Head was very happy about that last 10 minutes of the quarter. He said you got back into the game, and this game can be won in this last quarter. He's just asked some of his players like Michael O'Loughlin and Darren Creswell just to lift a little bit to get the Swans back into it.
Dipper on the boundary line to half forward. Carey a chance. Carey onto the left foot. Kicks down towards full forward. Bays under pressure. Tumbles a punt, but there's no one at home except John Blakey. Blakey, a charging punt. North have made a dream start. John Blakey gets his third. 12-12, plays 11-8.
That was all brought about by the defensive pressure there by Johnny Longmire. Bays one possession, but that's great defensive tackling in your forward 50-metre area. The ball didn't clear the danger zone. It was mopped up by John Blakey, who went back and kicked his third for the game. He's been a very important player across the half-forward line for North Melbourne, especially after quarter time.
North Melbourne by 10 points. McKernan ready to come charging in against Stafford. Creswell, as Dipper said, coach asked for more. Crouch out of the centre square to inside 50. Green's been a star for the Swans, picked up by Saddington, a young talent, and he's kicked it. That's his second goal. Sydney within 4 points.
And that was all brought about by Jason Saddington doing the discipline thing. The ball was kicked forward. And as Paul Roos experienced on an old head, talking to the young kid, he's probably trying to get Archer out of that danger zone. And if we see by the replay, we see Archer really committing himself to the contest. Jason Saddington decided to stay down, do the percentage thing, wait for the crumb and convert. Very good young player.
A goal apiece then in this final quarter. Saddington answers for Sydney. Stafford wins it yet again. Schwass couldn't take it out of the middle. McKernan got the hand pass away to Pickett. Tumbles a punt down to the half-forward line. Carey tries to get Dunkley out of it. He doesn't succeed. Dunkley goes again, almost shoved in the back. Comes back towards Creswell in the middle. Off to Licuria. Now a chance for Stafford. The big man has got Wharf running with him. But Rowan Wharf kicks down towards the forward line. But there he is.
That's not that the percentage kick was Rodney's after. He just wants his players to work the ball in, not to bomb away like that.
Mickey Martin.
Yeah, that kick Sandy gave Lockett no chance, and I think Tony Lockett will vent his anger in the right manner too. Don't worry about that.
Martin from fullback. Thank heavens he's not a bank manager. You'd get nothing. Carey. Off hands, then plays on down towards Longmire. Fisted clear of him through the legs of Licuria, but he's quick to tackle Blakey. A fine tackle. Bays gives it off to his teammate there in McPherson. He's under the pump. Schwass is too. Loses it. Socket clear. Down towards 50. Creswell may get the chance. Pumps it wide. Roos could have been leg. The umpire says play on. Maxwell does. His hand pass goes astray, and David King's away. Couple of bounces. Takes him on. That's what he does, and he does it so well. Off to Anthony Stevens. Stevens back to King. He may go again. David King from centre wing. Into half forward. And Anthony Rock marks almost uncontested.
Terrific build up there by North Melbourne, streaming out of defence, but it was all brought about by a try of an invention handball by Stuart Maxfield. He didn't know the awareness of where his Sydney Swans players were running into, but good run by David King here, seen Anthony Rock free in the forward 50-metre area. Whether the distance or not questioned, I'll question whether he can kick the distance, but Anthony Rock is a pretty good kick for goal.
Came into this game with only one goal for the season, but he kicked one in the first quarter. Copped the nasty one, or appeared to, in the ribs. I think he might just be suffering bruising in the next week or two. And he has kicked it behind.
Just noticed umpire Brett Allen also limping John Russo.
Yeah, he just got Martin Pike ran into him at the opposite end of the ground, so it was a good shepherd.
Bays finds O'Loughlin. He's on the half-back flank. Roos on a lead. Pike, the big fist away. It's been very good, Martin Pike.
The doctors have been out to Wayne Schwass, who seems to be limping a little bit. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, has been suffering by a sore ankle, so keep an eye on it.
North by 5 points. They lead by 20 points at quarter time. Trail by 12 at half time. At the start of this last quarter, led by 4. They've increased that by a point. O'Loughlin to Stafford, who goes to ground. Bell try to kick it off. Roos, quick hands, gets the ball back under pressure. Crouch just tumbles the ball forward. King feigns the hand pass, gets around Nix, belts the ball back towards centre half forward. Carey got rid of his opponent
And paid. So Dunkley to take the kick for Carey, pushing him out prior to the marking contest.
It's been a great duel.
Wayne Carey making sure he lets the umpire know he disagrees.
It's been a terrific duel. Stafford had a short rest in that third term. Arguably the best player on the ground today. And there's Archer again. So strong overhead. 10 marks from the half-back line. Pops it up. He was looking for McKernan. He got a shove out. Listen to the North Melbourne supporters. This game is up for grabs. 85 plays 80. And McKernan and Stafford are having a big duel.
Corey McKernan, KB, I think it's fair to say he's ran underneath the flight of the ball. I don't think his judgment, the aerial judgment, is just there at the moment.
Kicks long. Pushing and shoving. Carey's got it. This to increase the margin to 11 points. Bit of strength. And that last moment, Mick, just that ability to just give himself a little bit of space.
He certainly does that.
King Carey. He'll kick from 45 metres. You'll hear the roar. That tells the story.
And as you speak, KB, Tony Lockett is coming off the ground, replaced by Troy Luft. But a very important goal, and this is when the captain stands up. Wayne Carey, we've seen him in situations like this. You have a look at the super slow-mo, the picture of concentration, beautifully balanced as he comes in, head over the ball, directly kicks through the line of the ball. He knows it's a goal.
Tony Lockett on the bench. Found it a pretty tough day as they've blocked his path for most of the afternoon. Jason Mooney is there also. But still time for Sydney. Troy Luff gets a hurried kick out of the centre, down towards right half forward. Bounce was all right for King. He looked for the free kick. Appeared to have been held. Mickey Martin doesn't worry about that. He goes straight on with it to Shannon Grant, but then poses the question. In the meantime, Blakey to Pickett. North finishing full of running. Pickett kicks a high bomb into full forward. Rock gives away about half a metre, and Seymour takes the mark. Plays on to Bays. Now it's Sydney's turn with Roos on the outer side. Going to have to be accurate, and he is to Paul Kelly. Kelly's still a long way from home, spearing it in towards O'Loughlin, trying desperately to get in the game. Here's a snap that is wide, and no result for Darren Creswell.
Sandy, Peter McKenna here. I think the question has to be asked, did they go in with an unfit player in Tony Lockett? It's very unusual for the big fella not to have led all day and then finally had to be replaced.
No doubt that he had injury problems, Pete. No doubt at all. And McKernan threw that one away with the one hand.
Yeah, I agree with that, Sandy. You can't handball the ball with an open hand like that, especially when it's basically the one hand doing all of the action. Here we see it here. He has the footy and just slaps it across, and that is a throw.
From the throw-in, Grant tries a roundhouse right, as does Abraham. McKernan another one. Lucuria, if it sits, will bring it back with the hand pass. Starts something off for Andrew Dunkley. Goes for distance, pulls it to the left in doing so. Now they need assistance. Creswell goes to ground. Well taken by Archer. He typifies the North Melbourne determination as it goes towards Anthony Rock on the outer side of the ground. North look the better side at the moment. Martin Pike pumps it wide and long. Too wide, Pikey, for John Longmire.
And Sandy, Tony Lockett's replacement is Michael O'Loughlin. They've used him in the forward 50-metre area in a one-on-one contest with Brett Chandler. It'll be interesting to see whether that move comes off.
Under 13 minutes remaining, so time not a... Oh!
Andrew Dunkley's been reported, I would suggest.
An interesting phrase, you would suggest. Careful, boys. Just be very careful.
Carey should just take control of this situation. He's in control of the ball. Well, do what good captains do. Just go back and kick the goal. That's what'll hurt more than Andrew Dunkley.
Well, this will be
show of strength. Sometimes you have to do that, but you have to go back and kick the goal.
That's right, Mick. Well, Wayne Carey took the law into his own hands then, and one would think, how far did he have to go to lose the kick?
He got nothing untoward to Dunkley, though, did he, to lose the kick?
Well, he's pushed him over.
I think he took a dive, didn't he, Dunkley?
If he'd been wearing black and white, you would have said he pushed him over.
Bottom line is, though, Carey has the ball 60 metres out. North to go deep into attack. They lead by 11 points, and any score resulting from this will hurt. That's a big kick from Wayne Carey. That is an answer. Oh, and what an answer. You want inspiration, you want to be fired up.
You want to say goodnight to the folks, Gracie? Well, I think Wayne Carey just has.
Now, that's exactly what hurts more, Sandy. That's all you have to do in a situation like that. You've got to have controlled aggression. Wayne Carey did the right thing. I know it was a show of strength initially, but he went back. They're the goals that the captain can kick, and that's what really initiates inspiration. Great play, Wayne Carey. That's what captain leadership's all about.
That's what footy's about, Mick.
Wayne Carey's booted for. Dunkley's been reported. North Melbourne lead by 17 points. McKernan against Stafford. Down to Creswell, to Swass. Out of the centre square. The Swans. Can they come back? Kicked off the ground by Hewitt. Marked by Swash. Tackled by Stevens. Feeds it back off. Lucuria gets around Pickett. 60 metres out. Goes short. Looking for Creswell's. Got it. Second grab. Well, this game has seesawed all day. Peter McKenna, you've got a terrific view of this.
Fantastic, and that was terrific to see two heavyweights, Dunkley and Carey, down there. And I don't know what Dunkley did, but Carey came back hard. It was show of strength. He needs to kick this, and they really need O'Loughlin or someone to fire up forward and bypass Archer somehow.
Take us through it, Pete.
Well, he's run out to the right, tried to hook it back, and has drifted off to the right, Kev, and just probably outside his kicking distance.
So just a minor score. There's Wayne Carey. And let's have a look at this reaction here. This is after Carey had kicked the goal. And he came face to face with Dunkley. Now let's have a look, because Mick McGuan reckons he took a dive here. John Russo seems to think that
That's the second one.
That was the second
one,
occasion, KB, yeah.
There's Grant. Goes short. Stevens. It's got better as this game has gone on. It's won a lot of the ball. From defensive 50. Kicks long. Carey's in front. The King has it thumped away by Dunkley. Maxfield, the crummer. Pushed out of the way. Carey now using his strength. He's kicked forward. Kelly comes in. Bang, crash.
And just the last two times Paul Kelly's gone to meet the ball, he's really met it in a methodical manner, aggressive manner, trying to lift his teammates.
Gee, Carey certainly lifting his to half forward. At the back, McCartney. Couldn't take it. Rock pops the hand pass over the top. Schwass got a hand to it, then tries to soccer it clear. Pressure now, and desperate pressure on Sydney as Creswell has it on the outer side. Got Troy Luff loose on centre wing. Luff's got to go. Proper old hand pass has put Lucuria under the pump. He loses it. Sydney loses it. Bell gives it to Blakey. They're out of trouble once again as Chandler goes to the outer side. Anthony Stevens couldn't take it, but butters up again very quickly to push it away from Lucuria and over the boundary line.
And Dennis Pagan has reacted to that mismatch with Chandler on O'Loughlin. Now he's pushed the ever-reliable Martin Pike back onto O'Loughlin.
Still time for Sydney in front of 43,400 fans at the MCG today. Hewitt does the ruck work. Wharf tried to tap it back in. Taken away by Shannon Grant. A glint in the eye as he senses he could charge them down towards Longmire and co. Couldn't take it. Seymour does well with strength. Stafford comes wide out in front of Ruse. He needs help and he gets it from his captain. Back to Ruse again. Look out, here comes David King. Just gets it away. Off to Stafford. In trouble! Gone!
It wasn't so much for the time, Sandy. It was because he eventually, when he did get his hand to it, his hand was open, I think. And you see that he sort of slaps the ball in the end, and that's not enough.
On centre wing.
It's interesting to see the use of Corey McKernan now. He's gone to the true centre-half forward position as if Stafford has been the centre-half back, and they've won their cat-and-mouse contest in the last sort of 15 minutes of play.
Good kick from McKernan again. Big pack of players. They defend through a Wharf, but it's wide and it's out on the full. Stevens will bring it back in for North Melbourne. He wastes no time. Anthony Stevens centering kick into full forward. Big pack of players. They want someone waiting down. Bell is lurking. He's not the only one. Who's at the bottom? Is it Winston? Winston has done it.
That's the perfect kick, built up by Anthony Stevens. He assessed the options. He kicks the ball about 15 metres from goal. Too far for the defenders to actually spoil and get it over the goal line and concede a point. Winston Abrahams was the man that took it upon himself to go firstly for the ball, but what about the recovery? He was first up for North Melbourne, found his feet, ran into the open goal and kicked the goal off the ground.
There's Mighty Mick Martin, goes to the dugout. North Melbourne have kicked 4 goals to 1 in this final term. They lead by 22 points. Here come the Kangaroos. Winston Abraham, the excitement machine, pops it up. Blakely, and outmarked this time by Dunkley. Blakey's been good. He's booted 3 goals today. We can see Dunkley getting the boos from the crowd. He's been reported.
It landed heavily on that left ankle too then, KB. We might have trouble with this.
It's reported for striking Wayne Carey. It's been a great duel, but you've got to give the honours to Carey. He's booted 4 goals. 2 very important goals in this last quarter. So Dunkley in a bit of trouble. Creswell pumps the ball wide. Looking for Mooney, tried to slap it on. Luff, caught and held by Anderson, who worries him out of it. Licuria goes to ground. Luff, Anderson, flicks it out, tapped on by McKernan, quick hands. Stevens tumbled it forward to Blakey, comes to Scott, inside 50, Bell but from behind, but again, Sydney stand tall through Dunkley. They need some run, they need some goals quickly. Bays kicks wide, Mooney spent a bit of time on the interchange bench. Stevens caught. Swass, a great first half, a bit quieter in the second. Been a good duel with Grant in the second half. And again, we see the ball over the line. They'll toss it back in. 103 plays, 81.
With just under 8.5 minutes remaining, KB. Not insurmountable, but they'll need to get a wriggle on Sydney. Creswell. They'll need a St Kilda-like finish. One that the Saints produced in the West several weeks ago.
Well, Stevens and Armat, both injured in the first half, has troubled Sydney for pace, and Luff's been on and off the ground. Now Lockett's on the interchange bench.
Yes, he certainly had his hands somewhat tied. Rocket Eaters, as far as player movement is concerned.
Have a look at the old lady in the background. Isn't she abusing his former hero?
And what do you reckon she'd be saying, Mick? You changed clubs. Think about that. Here's Robert Scott. Carey floating across to Shannon Grant. He's got better as the days progressed. John Blakey caught by Licuria, but he gets a hurried kick. It's high in towards the forward line. Out comes Mark Bays. One of the Swan veterans defends, but only for a moment. Scholl can goal from here. He can just about say good night. He's off target away to the left. It was there for him. There for the taking. 15-14 plays 12-9. 7.5 minutes. Bays down the middle. Dunkley, Swamp, Kelly. Somewhat quieter in this final term. Maxfield can go wide. He's got the running machine in Wayne Schwass out there. Got to get past Scholl. Goes back to Mooney. Short, and that's okay. Maxfield's got it. Left footer won't particularly like the spot he's kicking from and would dearly like an option. So he centres it. Asks the veteran Paul Roos to fly. Pike partly smothered. Now, if it bounces okay for Kelly, he could just about kick it. It's a long kick from the captain, and it is good. Kelly kicks his third. Sydney, hang on.
Yeah, and Paul Kelly did the percentage thing, then he didn't get sucked into the contest. He stayed out in the percentage spot, knowing that that's where the defensive attitude of the North Melbourne players had come through. Martin Pike quickly kicked the ball out, but as I said, Paul Kelly was in the percentage spot to receive. He played the waiting game. They went through him, but that's a captain's goal. They're steadying the ship, trying to keep the Sydney Swans' hopes alive. The
Swans won't go away. They trail by 17 points. Just under 7 minutes of action left. Stafford jumps high, kicks it off the ground, ricochets off Archer. Blakey back to Archer, who's been so good today. Kicks down, Longmire takes a slips catch. North Melbourne looking for a quick reply. Kicked a goal in the third quarter, Johnny Longmire. Former winner of the John Coleman medal. Been in the reserves last week. There's Tony Lockett on screen, 10 goals last week. Just the one goal today that came in the third term. And Johnny Longmire. Best performance, 98 goals in a season. He's a goal kicker who's kicked over 500 goals in AFL football. From 45 metres, he's pushed it left.
Paul Kelly then to bring it back for Sydney. Wolf is out wide, Seymour is short, Ruse also out wide. The latter will be the target. Been such a grand aerialist for a long, long time. Oops. Rowan Wolf stumbles. Could be costly. Chandler out the back door to Winston Abraham. David King, you kick the first goal, he may kick one of the last. He just pops it over the top to try and accommodate Peter Bell. Has it taken out of his hands, it'll be thrown in the left forward pocket. So some big names having a spell on the bench. I saw Tony Lockett, now there's Mick Martin. From the throw-in, Schwass runs into one of his own teammates. Finally he gets it to Paul Ruse. Saddington a target on centre wing. Very exciting young player. Off to Rowan Wolf. Spears a worm burner into half forward. Dropped by Brent Green, but he's quick to recover, then runs into Archer, and that is a major problem. Thrown out the back. Ruse. His hand pass taken by Blakey. Blakey wants the boundary line.
Sandy, the North Melbourne players are really working hard to get goal side of their direct opponents late in the game. That's the reason why they've been so good for a long period of time, because they work rate when they haven't got the ball in trying to dispossess and harass the opposition. That's a quality of their play.
Hewitt does the ruck work for North Melbourne. Nix tries to go through for Sydney. Jared Crouch over the top. He's got the number 28 jumper on. Fans braving these wintry conditions today. As we said, 43,400 in attendance.
Sydney trail by 18 points. 3 straight kicks. Scott. King overruns the ball as well. Hands and knees. Bell taken by Kelly. A goal here will make this very interesting. O'Loughlin kicks a goal. Here comes Sydney. We've got a 2-goal ball game.
And 4 minutes, KB, so plenty of time.
Well, he's had a shocking day, Michael O'Loughlin. He's been put to full forward with Tony Lockett going off the field, Mick, and he's kicked a goal, an important one. They've got a chance.
Very important, but you see the quality of Paul Kelly. He's not a fumbler. He picked the ball, the greasy ball up, one grab, quick kick forward into the path of O'Loughlin. Also seen the silky smooth O'Loughlin operate. Quick kick across his right shoulder, great left foot goal.
Still hope for Sydney with Michael O'Loughlin, his 6th kick for the day, scoring a much-needed goal. They hang on with 4 minutes to play. It's vital they win it out of the centre, but Wayne Schwass is also almost buried in the turf there. And the big men will have to do it again in the centre.
He's had another big game, Wayne Schwass. 19 and 8 up to this stage. 4 minutes of play to go.
Time for Sydney. McKernan. Ruse out of the air. On centre wing. A tap to try and accommodate Kelly. He does well to push it forward to Troy Luff. Luff almost spent it too soon. Gets it to Creswell. Creswell bounces it down to the half-forward line. Archer is caught.
Look at them pounce on that. Like seagulls over a leftover sandwich.
It's nice and willing in the crunches there, Sandy.
If you drop $10 in there, I don't reckon you'd worry about picking it up, Mick. But the important thing is Sydney have it down in their forward zone. Glenn Archer's having a bit to say. Play to go on. 2 kicks in it. 3.5 minutes to play. Green, Hewitt, a couple of young guns. Maxfield couldn't take it. Schwartz loses it. Piggott tries to get through heavy traffic. Eventually it's Longmire. Tumbles a punt wide. Blakey is as cool as they come. Kicks to the open spaces on the right half forward flank. No one at home at all for North Melbourne. Now he's got Roos on this side of the ground. And Roos has hectares on his own, but he's totally ignored. Goes short to Dunkley. Dunkley goes back again to Bayes. Some fancy footwork by Mark Bayes. Sees them transfer play to half forward. Comes right out the back door to David King. He's been as solid as a rock, but his kick is wide on this occasion and slightly astray. Grant's got to beat a couple. Dunkley rams into him.
That was good play by Grant.
And before we seen the kicker John Blakey kicking to space, as you rightfully said, Sandy, but the reason why it was kicked to space, not one player in the entire ground was in the forward 50-metre area.
Stafford and McKernan, Creswell, Grant again. He's done pretty well off the rock. Hurriedly into the centre. Luff again. This could be one of the final thrusts. They need something here. Schwartz, a high long kick. Sydney need a mark. Green was the flyer, but there's no one to scout the crumbs. Bell pushes to the line and concedes a behind.
Whew. Well, a very interesting behind too, because that makes it an 11-point ball game. If Sydney can get a goal, they could even pinch this game. 2 minutes left.
You have a look at the ground now, KB. There's not one player in North Melbourne's centre forward of the ground.
Well, 36 players from the centre of the ground up towards Sydney's goal. So there's a big pack of players. McKernan goes up at ground level. Overrunning the ball was Carey. Comes back to Stevens. Had a big game as well. Puts it straight over the line. Interesting when we get down to the last 30 seconds, whether we see North Melbourne playing keepings off. There's Dunkley on screen. It's been reported for striking Carey. Gets the ball out to Kelly. He's booted 3 goals. Back towards centre half forward. Thumped away by Archer. Pounced on by Rock from half back. It's 2 against 1. Playing in front is Wharf. Now they've got loose players wide. Again, Paul Roos was screaming for the ball. Also Seymour, he's been ignored. Wharf at long last picks him up. He's inside the centre square. Kicks the ball out wide to Roos. He's off target. It was a poor kick. He was standing there for a long time. And you can see Rodney Eade slow to react by Wharf. So North Melbourne with the ball. Carey. They just might chip it around. They're not quite certain how long we've got. We tipped this, Sandy. King. They've conceded ground. We're down to 52 seconds. They lead by 11 points. King decides to kick it long. Carey's the target. Got pushed out by Seymour. They'll be happy to see the ball trickle over the line. They'll toss it back in. 15-15, 105 North Melbourne. 14-10, 94 Sydney. Green on screen for Sydney. He's booted 4 goals. Came off the interchange bench. Dunkley, a big duel with Carey. Inside 50. O'Loughlin leaves it for Nix. Then goes to ground. Nix, a wild swipe at the ball. Can't keep it in. And they'll toss it back as the time clock ticks away.
$11 points, the margin. North led by 20 at quarter time. Pike twists out of one, but then into Darren Creswell. Schwartz has tried desperately hard, bends it back, kicks long into the square and off hands for another behind. Look on Dennis Pagan. What pressure? No pressure in this coaching caper. David King again.
North defence have been fantastic today. He'll get the call, David, to go. And he does to the outer side. Play on was the call, and Carey did that. Scholl solidly met Scott at the bottom, but there it is. Victory to North Melbourne. Too good in the 96 grand final. And this is the first time they've played at this ground since that grand final. And they're too good again, but this time the margin is just 10 points. North Melbourne 15-15. Sydney 14-11. 10-point margin to the North Melbourne boys. Dippers down there on the boundary line. Dipper.
Thanks very much, Sandy. Well, Shannon, not much between these two sides, but a terrific win.
Yeah, two fantastic sides. I mean, we've been struggling a little bit, but it was good to get the 4 points today.
And what was it like playing against your old side? So, ex-teammates out there.
Yeah, a few funny times, but, you know, a bit of ribbon going on, but, you know, that's all part of the game.
It was a terrific game, and the conditions a bit tough with the slippery ground?
Yeah, it was to begin with, but as the game went on, you know, it didn't get as slippery, and I think we adjusted well to the conditions, and, you know, luckily we came out on top in the end.
And Wayne Carey's effort after that long goal obviously lifted the side.
Yeah, well, he's a fantastic player, so, you know, not going to keep him down for too long.
Well played, mate. The boys are calling for you.
Dipper, you deserve a medal being out there today without your jacket on.
Actually, say it's not cold, just slippery.
Off you go, me boy. Yes, a waltz across the MCG. Dipper on the boundary, and Wayne Schwass. Well, that's round one, Wayne might say, against his old side. Wayne Carey on the other hand. A smile of satisfaction, and well may be the case. Coming into this game, Mick at what, 4-3, Sydney 6-1. North were due.
They certainly were due, but the way they went about it late in the game, they second half, they really lifted their work rate. Shannon Grant and Wayne Schwass, two good players for their respective teams.
Look at that, that's a great shot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. How ironic it is, but you know, Schwass and Shannon Grant, they were terrific players for their respective teams, and no doubt Wayne Schwass will be deep in thought at this stage of the game, thinking how many times he's been in the situation with North in the winning side of the ledger.
No excuses, Mick, but injuries obviously played a part as far as Sydney were concerned.
Yeah, John Stevens did a specific job, and he had the role early in the game, and to miss his run, and also Robbie Ahmad's sort of nippiness around goal, who did cause problems in that second quarter, that might have been the difference in the team. But North Melbourne were sensational after half-time. They lifted their work rate and exceeded all expectations going into the sort of half-time break. I think they were the side that really took the bit between the teeth. They worked harder than what the City Swans team did, but all in all, it was a great contest between two very good sides.